At some point in your life, you have to make a decision that changes everything. And that decision is this: I'm done letting other people decide who I am. Because too many of us are waking up every single day carrying opinions that were never meant to guide our future. You're moving based on what they said, slowing down because of what they think, shrinking because of what they don't understand. And the truth is, most of the people you're trying to impress don't even know what it takes to become who you're called to be. See, when you let outside voices define your worth, you give them a kind of power they didn't earn. You start performing instead of becoming. You start editing your dreams so they fit into someone else's comfort zone. And the danger isn't just that they doubt you. The danger is that after a while you start doubting yourself. You begin questioning ideas that were placed in you for a reason. You second-guess steps you were built to take. And slowly, without realizing it, you start living a smaller life than the one you were meant to live. Here's what nobody tells you. Most opinions are rooted in fear, not truth. People judge from where they stopped growing. They speak from their limits, not your potential. And if you keep listening to people who quit on themselves, you'll eventually quit on yourself too. That's why ignoring everyone isn't arrogance, it's survival. It's you saying, I respect my future more than I fear your opinion. The moment you start valuing yourself, something shifts internally. You stop asking, do you think I can? And you start saying, I know I must. You stop looking for approval and start moving with intention. You don't need everyone to understand your vision because it wasn't given to everyone. It was given to you. And when you truly understand that, rejection doesn't break you. It refines you. Criticism doesn't stop you. It sharpens you. Silence doesn't scare you. It strengthens you. Let me be clear, valuing yourself doesn't mean you think you're better than others. It means you refuse to think you're less than what you were created to be. It means you show up even when nobody believes in you yet. It means you keep working when there's no applause, no validation, no spotlight, because real confidence isn't loud, it's consistent. It's waking up and doing the work when nobody's watching, trusting that the results will speak louder than explanations ever could. And yes, it's uncomfortable. When you stop living for people's approval, some will get confused, some will get distant. Some will try to pull you back into the version of you they're comfortable with, but growth always feels like isolation before it feels like elevation. That loneliness you feel, that's not abandonment, that's transition. You're shedding old expectations to make room for a new level of self-respect. The day you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you is the day your energy comes back. You start moving faster, thinking clearer, standing taller, because now your decisions are rooted in purpose, not pressure. You're no longer negotiating your value. You're no longer waiting for permission. You're no longer living on trial. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Stop handing your confidence to people who don't know your assignment. Stop shrinking to fit rooms you were never meant to stay in. Value yourself enough to move even when nobody agrees. The moment you stop letting others decide your worth is the moment your life finally begins. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. Distraction is disrespectful to your destiny. Every time you let someone pull your attention away from what you know you're supposed to be building, you're making a silent agreement to delay your future. And it doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it shows up as a harmless opinion, a casual comment, a comparison that makes you question your pace. But if you're not careful, those small interruptions turn into permanent detours. When you truly value yourself, you start guarding your focus like it's sacred. You stop entertaining everything that wants access to your mind, because focus is expensive and not everything deserves the price. You can't give your best energy to people who don't understand your purpose and still expect to become everything you were meant to be. There's a reason your path feels lonely sometimes. It's narrow, and not everyone is built to walk it with you. See, most distractions don't look dangerous at first. They look familiar. They look comfortable. They look like everyone else's life. And that's the trap. The moment you start comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel, you lose connection with your own rhythm. You start rushing when you should be learning. You start slowing down when you should be pushing. And before you know it, you're exhausted, not from the work, but from the noise. Ignoring distractions isn't about being cold or disconnected. It's about being disciplined. It's understanding that not every call deserves an answer, not every comment deserves a response, and not every opportunity is meant for you. When you value yourself, you learn the power of no. Not because you're selfish, but because you're serious. Serious about your growth, serious about your goals, serious about the future you keep saying you want. And let me say this clearly, people will test your focus. The moment you start moving differently, they'll question you. The moment you stop being available, they'll label you. But focus always looks strange to people who live distracted lives. They'll call you distant, obsessed, or changed when in reality, you just finally got committed. You stopped letting chaos sit at the same table as your dreams. Here's the truth. Everything you want demands uninterrupted effort. You can't build something meaningful while constantly explaining yourself. You can't hear your inner direction when the world is shouting in your ear, and you can't expect extraordinary results from ordinary attention. Greatness doesn't respond to half effort. It responds to sacrifice, to silence, to seasons where you choose progress over popularity. When you start protecting your focus, something powerful happens. You stop reacting and start responding. You move with clarity instead of confusion. You waste less time proving yourself and more time improving yourself. You don't need to announce your moves. Your consistency speaks for you. And slowly, the distractions that once tempted you lose their grip because your vision has become stronger than your need for approval. Yes, it will cost you comfort. Yes, it will cost you some relationships. But what's the alternative? Staying the same to keep people comfortable. Trading your potential for temporary acceptance. That's too expensive. If you want a different life, you're going to need a different level of focus. And focus requires distance from anything that drains your momentum. So if you feel pulled in too many directions, take it as a sign, not that you're failing, but that it's time to get serious. Tighten your circle, sharpen your attention, respect your time, because the moment you stop letting distractions rent space in your mind is the moment your purpose finally takes center stage. Let me tell you something about pain that most people run from. Pain is not the enemy, quitting is. That pressure you feel, that weight on your chest, those nights where you're questioning everything, those aren't signs that something is wrong. Those are signs that something is changing. Growth has a sound, and most of the time it sounds like discomfort. It sounds like loneliness. It sounds like being misunderstood while you're becoming someone you've never been before. Too many people interpret pain as a signal to stop, but pain is often a signal to level up. Think about it. Nothing grows without resistance. Muscles don't grow without strain. Character doesn't grow without challenge. Purpose doesn't grow without pressure. So, when life starts pushing back, when things don't come easy anymore, when people don't recognize you the way they used to, that's not punishment. That's preparation. See, the moment you decide to value yourself, you also decide to outgrow certain spaces. And when you outgrow places, people, and patterns, it hurts. It hurts to be the one who's changing while everyone else stays comfortable. It hurts to walk alone when you used to blend in. But that pain is proof that you're no longer settling for average. You're no longer numbing yourself to survive. You're waking up, and let me be real with you, becoming more will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you familiarity. It might even cost you relationships that were only built for the old version of you. But don't confuse loss with failure. Sometimes what feels like loss is actually alignment. What feels like rejection is actually redirection. What feels like isolation is actually separation for elevation. People will misunderstand your silence. They'll question your distance. They'll say you changed like it's an insult. But they don't see the internal battles you fought. They don't see the discipline you're building. They don't see the strength it took to keep going when nobody was clapping. And that's okay. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to become who you were meant to be. Pain sharpens you if you let it. It teaches you what matters. It shows you where you've been compromising. It exposes where you've been playing small. And when you stop complaining about the pain and start learning from it, you become dangerous in the best way. Focused, grounded, unshakable, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this building in me? Don't waste your pain by numbing it. Don't silence it with distractions. Sit with it, learn from it. Let it burn away the excuses, the laziness, the fear. Because on the other side of that pain is clarity. On the other side is confidence that can't be borrowed or broken. On the other side is a version of you that doesn't need approval to move forward. And yes, there will be moments where you feel alone. Moments where it seems like nobody gets it. But understand this loneliness is often the space where leaders are formed. Visionaries are shaped in silence. Winners are built when nobody's watching. That quiet season isn't empty, it's full of preparation. So if you're hurting right now, don't quit, don't fold, don't shrink back into what's familiar just to feel comfortable again. Let the pain do its work. Let it stretch you. Let it strengthen you. Because the pain you're surviving today is the proof that you're becoming more than you've ever been. There comes a moment in every life when excuses stop working, when motivation isn't enough, when inspiration fades. And all that's left is a decision, not a feeling, not a mood, a decision, because the truth is, nothing around you changes until something inside you does. You can pray, plan, wish, and wait, but until you commit to you, the world has no reason to respond differently. See, commitment is loud in results, but quiet in process. Nobody sees it at first. When you decide to raise your standards, life doesn't immediately applaud you. It tests you. It asks, are you serious, or is this just another moment? That's why most people don't change, because commitment demands consistency when it's inconvenient. It demands discipline when nobody is watching. It demands showing up even when you're tired of showing up. The day you commit to yourself, you stop negotiating with your potential. You stop making deals with your weaknesses. You stop saying tomorrow to the things that require action today. You realize that nobody is coming to save you, and instead of being scared by that truth, you're empowered by it. Because now you understand you are the help you've been waiting for. When commitment shows up, excuses get uncomfortable. You can't keep blaming your past when you've decided to build a future. You can't keep pointing fingers when you've finally taken ownership. And ownership changes everything. Your habits change, your circle changes, your tolerance for nonsense changes. Things you used to accept start to offend you, not because you're arrogant, but because you're aware. Let me tell you something powerful. The world treats you how you treat yourself. When you commit to your growth, opportunities recognize that energy. When you move with discipline, results start chasing you. When you stop seeing yourself as optional, life stops treating you like an afterthought. But it starts with standards. Standards for your time, standards for your effort, standards for who gets access to you. And don't get it twisted, commitment doesn't mean it gets easy. It means it gets clearer. You still get tired. You still get frustrated. You still have days where quitting looks attractive. The difference is now, quitting is no longer an option you entertain. You've already decided who you are. You've already decided where you're going. And that decision becomes your anchor when motivation runs dry. A committed person moves differently. They don't wait to feel ready. They move while afraid. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create momentum in imperfect moments. They don't need constant encouragement because they made a promise to themselves, and breaking that promise would hurt more than the struggle ever could. This is where everything shifts, when you stop asking for permission, when you stop explaining your vision, when you stop looking for shortcuts and start respecting the process. That's when growth accelerates. That's when confidence becomes unshakable. That's when you realize the power was never out there. It's been in you the whole time, waiting for commitment to unlock it. So if your life feels stuck, ask yourself one honest question. Have I fully committed, or have I been casually trying? Because casual effort gets casual results, but full commitment, that changes how you walk, how you talk, how you work, how you endure. It changes everything. The day you commit to yourself without apology is the day your life finally starts moving forward.